Welcome to another live. Today we have Richard Sandler. I'm Valeria from Street Macadam. So Richard Sandler is an award-winning photographer and filmmaker who shot the streets of New York from 1977 until early 2000s. He has directed and shot 8 non-fiction films, and his photographs are in permanent collections in several museums, namely Brooklyn Museum and New York City. So I hope you enjoy this live. Welcome everyone. I can see a lot of people joining, which is great. Let's see if Richard is already connected. Not yet. So we have to wait a bit longer. I stay waiting for Richard to join. Hello. I'm fine, thank you. So I'm going to show a photo of him. I suspect everyone knows his photos. It's monochromatic, motion, a lot of thought on composition. So let's see, he's in New York, so there's a difference in time. Hope we are aligned. Hi Vikram, hello. So I'm going to check again if he's... Connects. Awesome. Hello everyone, today we have Richard Sandler. I'm trying to connect with him. I'm sure everyone knows very well. Okay, he's joined. I was still trying to see, can you hear me well? I'm not hearing you. I don't know if it's a problem on my side. No, yes, now I'm hearing you. Hello?
Yes, hi. Can you hear
Hi.
me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay,
So already
excellent.
introduced you, but I would like you to tell us a bit about your journey in photography. I know you're a filmmaker as well.
Are you recording this or is it live?
This is live, but also it records. So then we
All
will
right.
post in Macadam and ask you to collaborate, so people can also watch it after this.
Have you started? Is it? You'll wait till. Oh, you've started.
No, we started.
Oh, okay. Wow,
You're
fantastic.
online. You're live. So could you take us through your journey as a filmmaker and a photographer?
Yeah, let me just get this set up a little bit better. All right, that's better. Okay. Well, yes, I'm a photographer, particularly a street photographer and a filmmaker. And I began photography in 1977 when I was 31. Um, I'm 79 now, so it's been a few years that I've been doing this.
That's great.
Um, and I began photography in Boston, Massachusetts, USA, after having two previous careers. One as a chef in natural foods restaurants, macrobiotic restaurants. And then secondly, I went to England and studied Chinese medicine and became an acupuncturist, and practiced acupuncture for about 7 or 8 years in Boston and in New York City. And in 1979, I got introduced to photography, and I became addicted to photography, and it became so strong that I had to stop practicing acupuncture.
But what
Uh,
made you start photography? What unlocked that desire and passion?
well, after many years of doing things for other people, cooking for other people, cooking very healthy food for other people. We're not just talking about an ordinary restaurant. We're talking about one where, it's extremely healthy. Um, and being an acupuncturist, which was obviously helping people with medical and psychological conditions, I felt like it was time to do something selfish, something for myself. And I was exposed to photography by friends of mine, and I started taking pictures on the street immediately. And I realized that I loved doing this, and then I also realized I was, reasonably good at it. So I made the transition from being an acupuncturist to being a photographer. And very quickly, I was able to get work doing photojournalistic assignments and uh, and like and um, what's the word I'm looking for? Like editorial assignments. Um, and that went very, very well. So in 1977, I took a workshop with Gary Winogrand. You know who I'm talking about? You
No.
okay? Gary Winogrand was, the greatest street photographer that ever lived, perhaps.
But is
And
he within the 50 best photographers and legends? Because not
what's
sure.
that?
There's a list of the 50 more prominent and influencers, street photographers. Is he in that list?
No, he is number one. I mean, everybody has their own number one, but
Yeah.
he was particularly number one. Anyway, so I watched him, and I took this workshop with him, and I learned a lot watching him. And so I was a street photographer, right away, right away. But I was also working for newspapers and magazines, doing, photojournalistic assignments to make a living. This is still in Boston. And then in 1980, I went down to New York, where I'm from, and met the photo editor of the New York Times. And they said that if I moved to New York, he would give me work in New York, working for the New York Times. So me and my wife moved to New York City in 1980. Back to, for me, that's my home. So I moved back home from Boston, and started shooting on the street in New York and working for the New York Times and other magazines and newspapers. So I had a way to make money as a photographer and a way to do my street work, which was not about making money, particularly certainly in the beginning. So I was in good shape, and
I think
I
at that
lived.
time was easier to get paid for jobs and to work for magazines and newspapers than today. Because I think
Yes,
today photographers struggle much more.
yes, very much more. Yes, it was
And
much easier time. And there were not so many people doing it as now, so there was less competition.
true. But you think, well, having more doesn't mean we are better, no? But yes, it's much more. Do you think we can make money with street photography?
I wouldn't think about making money with street photography. I mean, I do. I've gotten to the point where I make a meager living selling my prints. I do sell my prints, yes, and I do make a living to a certain extent from street photography, yes. But I wouldn't think about that in the beginning. I wouldn't think about trying to make money from street photography. No, you do it because you have passion for it. That's all. You
You
learn
are,
more about yourself. You learn about yourself.
it's true. It's how you express and see the world. So you were also a filmmaker. How does that influence your photography and vice versa? How each arts influence one and the other?
Well, I was a street photographer immediately starting in 1977, and I did not begin video until 1992. But I became very, very addicted to shooting video also. So there was overlap. I carried a video camera with me every day and a Leica for shooting on the street. And I made films, documentary. Well, they're videos. They're not shot on film. I'd like to use the word film to mean analog, and the word video to mean digital. So I shot a lot of video on the street, starting in 1992. I made documentaries about Times Square called The Gods of Times Square, and a documentary about the East Village called Brave New York, and 6 or 7 or 8 other films over the course of my life as a documentary video maker.
So you never wanted to pursue the film industry? Was always photography? That
Well, I have interest in pursuing the film industry now, but up to this point, up until recently, I've only made documentaries, and they don't make money, generally speaking, not very often. So I never, money was not my. I made money as a photographer, as a commercial photographer, a journalistic photographer, really. And that is how I made my living through all of this. Yeah.
how do you think artificial intelligence will impact photographers, namely gaining jobs in media, magazines, and newspapers, especially in fashion, because AI models are now used as well. What's your view on that?
Well, well, it's so new that it's hard to form an opinion, but artificial intelligence is more like you know natural stupidity. It's not about your intelligence. I mean, the only intelligence that you supply is in your prompts. It's not intelligent at all. It's really stupid. It's I call it natural stupidity. I mean, I know it can help in certain ways, but I have no interest in it whatsoever. I mean, I'm analog all the way. I'm not interested in artificial intelligence. I think it's complete crap. I mean, it's fake. It's just, phoniness. It's as smart as your ideas. That's all. It's not. It's something different. It has nothing to do with um, making an image out of reality, um, actual reality. It makes images out of virtual reality. So I'm not interested in artificial intelligence. I have nothing to say about it.
Don't you think it's an evolution? First, we had the painters, then photography showed up. Painters were saying that that was not art because you were just capturing images. But then it's art because you put yourself and your uniqueness on those images and you do different things. And now we
Well,
have
maybe for some people, but
artificial
not for me.
intelligence.
I don't want to. I don't want to make generalizations. I'm just not interested in it. You know,
Okay.
it's not my bag. You know, if you know the expression. I'm not interested in it. I don't want to go there. I don't shoot digital stills. I don't use digital cameras.
You still use only film, not digital?
Yes, only film.
You is because it's your preference because you think digital it's also altering a bit how you photograph and it's not genuine or
Film is much more beautiful than digital.
I will show you this image because you like to
Um,
talk a bit about the edges, right?
yes, yeah. You want to talk
So
about the edges? Well, the edges of frames are really important. It's the edges of frame are where you make your best photograph. You
can
know,
you
putting
develop a bit that thought?
what's that?
Can you please elaborate about the edges that are the what makes a good photo?
What makes a good photo?
Now you're saying the edges are very important to make a good photo. Could you
Yes, because
elaborate a bit more?
most people tend to be very conservative in in the framing of the picture. They tend to put things in the middle, and the middle is okay sometimes, but sometimes the most important place to put the most interesting information is on the edges.
Like this one.
Well, yeah, because the guy's butt is near the bottom of the picture. That's an edge. And there's a guy on the right, and he's right on the edge. And then there's people on the left who are also on the edge. So you make when
And you
you
don't
put
have anything in the middle.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I'm not always looking to put things in the middle. I mean, it's very interesting when you put things on the edges because you're taking a chance of it failing. When you put things in the middle, you're not taking a chance on failing. And the best pictures are when you take a chance on failing.
Can I ask you something? We have here someone that is almost naked. It's naked, this person. Where do you think are the limits in in street photography in the sense of exposing people, or it's more important to capture the moment? Because if the person is like that in a public place, he's not worried about being exposed or not. But did you ever receive any kind of criticism because you were exposing more people when they were like in a private moment in a public place?
Well, that's part of being a street photographer. You know, you're going to piss some people off. That's
You're used to it.
yeah. I just take that as you know, I'm prepared for that happening. So I can. If people want to talk about why I photographed them, they can do that. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep moving on. I'm not out there to make friends. I mean, I'm not out there to harm anybody particularly, but I'm not out there to make friends. If people want to talk, I'll explain why I did it. And
Are New Yorkers receptive to being photographed or very annoyed by it?
they used to be more receptive than they are now. It's harder to photograph now because everybody has got a camera, and everybody is maybe aware that it could be posted online and be on the internet. But I don't know, I don't, I don't really care about that. I'm interested in making pictures that ask more questions than they answer, pictures that are enigmatic, pictures that, have, more stories.
Where did you take this one? Was it in the station in New York?
Grand Central Terminal.
Central Terminal?
Yeah, Grand Central Terminal.
So here
Yeah.
you used motion in film.
Well, it's
So,
there's a little bit of blur, motion blur, but not too much.
so was your what is the message of this? What you you wanted to convey with this image? It was a
It's just
day
ly-
like.
it's just lyrical. It's music. It's music.
Okay, so tell me, you never curious to use digital?
Say that again.
Weren't you ever curious to use a digital camera?
Um, Not really. I don't like the way it looks.
You think it
You
makes
don't
a
see
lot of difference?
what?
So how do you post edit your photos in the darkroom? Because uh, post edition in film is much more harder than digital that you use those Lightroom and programs. So how do you develop your language, your visual language, and do you edit in your? You have a darkroom. Do you do all the editing?
Editing is not done in the darkroom, although cropping might be done in the darkroom, which is a form of editing, perhaps. But no, everything's made in the darkroom. Yeah, I mean, I develop my film in the darkroom, and I make prints in the darkroom. And it's a more demanding and more artistic process than working on a computer. And the other thing that's wonderful about analog photography versus digital is that every print is slightly different. But with digital photography, every print is exactly the same. And I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in making prints that every one of them is the same. I want to make prints that each one is slightly different. I want to try to keep them, close to being the same, but you can never make two identical prints in the analog world, and I like that. And some parts of one photograph might be better than another, but that's okay with me.
So how do
That's
we discover our visual language through editing?
um, well, most of the pictures that photographer we all of us photographers, most of the pictures that we make are not perfect. So my approach to those pictures is to um, crop out all of the things that don't work and just make a photograph of the small part of a picture that does work and make prints from that part of the picture only. Forget about the part that doesn't work. If there's a photograph, I mean, some pictures are just completely, they don't work at all. But when there's a photograph where something works, a little part of the picture works, I part of what I teach when I teach is make a print of just the part that works. Forget about the rest of the picture. Just the part that works. Make a photograph of that, crop it to make that picture, and then save them and put them on your wall. And that's your photographic language. That's how you learn to try to make pictures that are perfect in all the parts. And that's the way you discover your photographic language. Because if you throw the baby out with the bathwater, if you know that phrase, that's not a good thing. You should save the parts of the picture that do work, and then out of all of those parts, begin to construct your photographic language. Because street photography is very instinctive. It has to happen in a moment, right? You can't see everything all at once. You can try, but you can't see everything all at once. So if you save those little parts of the picture that work very well, put them on your wall and try to make pictures that have every part of the picture working. Everything works. Like that one before in Grand Central Terminal.
Yeah.
Everything works. Every part of that picture is a picture. There's like 10 or 12 pictures there. The two women on the right, and the clock, and the guy with the hat. I mean, you could make many pieces of that, and that's an each one of them is something that you just remember. So you're creating a visual memory and a visual language, and when you go back out on the street, you're trying to address yourself to the totality of the frame. Every part of the frame needs to work for a picture to be perfect and good.
Some photographers and lines of talk say that when you take a photo, you should already compose in a way that you don't have to crop much, because cropping is altering the image, and it means you didn't put enough effort or observation into the composition. Do you share? I don't believe you share the same idea.
No, I do. I agree. Your goal is to use the whole frame. But what I'm talking about is something different. I'm talking about the pictures that don't work in their entirety, but parts of the picture work. I'm saying save those little pieces to create a language for the purpose of, in the future, making pictures that don't require any cropping at all. But, a little crop here or a little crop there is no big deal. I'm not a purist.
Neither am I. So, can you talk a bit about this photo? I think it's a great photo. I like especially here the eye, that side of the face, very dark, which gives him a spooky and scary look. This is a great photo.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Well, this one is with the flash, and the flash is under that woman's neck. The flash is under her neck, and it's pointed up at the guy. And so the shadow that the flash casts uh, of her head is blocking the light from his eye. So that's why the eye looks that way. So that's not reality. That's not reality. That's created by my flash.
Do you like? Do you use flash a lot?
Yes.
You were very close to them here, right? Which
Yes, very
lens
close.
do you usually use? Which lens do you usually use?
28 millimeter lens mostly.
So, as close as you were, didn't they feel a bit bothered or irritated by that intrusion?
Who cares?
I'm asking that because here in Portugal, people can be very aggressive sometimes, physically
Well,
aggressive.
everywhere people can be very aggressive. They don't like that. I don't do it as much as I used to. I don't use the flash as much as I used to, because it is intrusive, and you can startle people, of course, with or without the flash. But to get a picture like that, you got to be very close,
Yeah, true.
and it's worth it, right? I mean, it's a good picture.
It's a wonderful
So
picture, but also you have to be very quick and have good reflexes, right? Because you pass by and everything is happening.
yeah, you got to be very fast. It's very, it's like a sport. It's like athletics. It's like having a fast first step, in baseball or soccer or any sport, basketball. You need a fast first step. You have to be quick. You have to be very reactive and be very quick and have quick reflexes. It's like sport.
Was this also with the flash?
Oh yeah, Flash. That one's called fur vulva. It looks like a vagina. Her coat.
Okay, tell us
It looks like she's giving birth to herself, or she's
and
the
screaming.
clitoris of her own. Her head is the clitoris of her coat.
Why was she screaming about?
I have no idea. She was just laughing.
Ah, she was laughing. Okay,
I don't
because
know.
it
Maybe
seems
I
like
made
a
her laugh. I don't.
scream.
These pictures are a long time ago, so I don't remember all that well. Every picture. But she loved the fact that I photographed her. Some
At
people
the
love being
time,
photographed. Also, they really appreciate it. I
and
just probably said something like, "You look great," or "You're a walking vagina." I don't know. I don't know what I said. But whatever I said, it got her laughing, and and so it works. It doesn't say anything. It just it just feels good. I
okay.
mean, you can make up your own story. I want you to make up your story. I
Well, the
want you to.
vagina didn't cross my mind. Just saw someone that it seems like was screaming, and everything was a bit blurred, like something was happening. Um, maybe I started by you, like it was a surprise to be caught. But it's great because today using furs is not political correct. So
Right.
yeah,
Well, it
but it's,
wasn't.
it's like a
Yeah.
disform. Her body is a bit disformed by the coat that is so big.
Well, I mean, the most important thing is the sadness of the animals that have to die for this.
Many of them,
But,
and
leather is also something people wear
true.
from dead animals too. These are. I'm reflecting upon the society that I live in.
I know, I know.
This is social critique.
No, I know. I think it's interesting, and I mean, I'm not that tourist as well. And also, you photographed a lot in the subway or the tube or the metro. I don't know
Yes,
which one do you use. And you have wonderful photos there. You spent a lot of time on the underground, right?
yes,
Shooting.
yes. I photographed in the subway quite a bit. Yeah, in the New York subway quite a bit. And it was beautiful. The graffiti was a beautiful form of self-expression, and the train cars were broken. New York was broken. It was dangerous. It was, a dysfunctional city. But at the same time, there was all this incredible explosion of people's personalities and art in the form of graffiti and painting on the cars. And I loved it. And I loved that New York. It was before the yuppies moved in and capitalized on New York.
So you have a series on the focused on the underground and that you developed a long time along the years.
Yes, yes. I was on the subway a lot, every day. Um, Not particularly. It was part of my job actually, because I was delivering packages in those days. to help make more money. And so I would be carrying packages from, or one package at a time, as a messenger, a foot messenger. So I would carry a package around New York from, go to Wall Street and then go up to Times Square or whatever, go to buildings and pick up packages and deliver them to other parts of the city. So that meant that I had to take the subway to get to different parts of the city, and that was my opportunity to photograph also.
That's lovely. So here we have the edges. In the center, we have like these ghosts. I love this photo.
Thank
Uh,
you.
do you want to talk us through a bit, or?
It's just, lucky. It's just a fortunate. I mean, I put the picture together, but it was a fortunate moment. The car was moving very slowly. It was just the subway car was moving to a stop, and that's why the guy in the car is blurry because it's moving very slowly. Um, and that made that guy into a ghost. And this is what happens when you use a camera, because the camera doesn't the camera doesn't see the world the way you see the world. The way to become a good photographer is to see the way a camera sees, because a camera sees differently than our eyes see. Our eyes can't see blur like that. Only a camera can see blur like that. So you need to learn to see like a camera because the shutter of the camera was open for probably a 15th of a second, or perhaps even an eighth of a second. So anything that's moving parallel to the camera is going to be blurry, anything at all. But the people are sharp because they're not moving. At a 15th of a second, with a Leica particularly, you can photograph in low light like that. But if anything's moving, it'll be blurry. So I figured that guy was going to look blurry, and I was happy with that thought. And indeed, he is like a ghost. So that adds a very interesting element.
It's true.
The camera, but it's the camera that's adding that element. That's not reality. That's the way a camera sees,
But
right?
also, I like this plastic that she has, or
Yeah,
something.
because the light is directly above her head. So that's what attracted me to this composition, this picture.
But also, this reflects your way of seeing the world, how you express yourself. Because someone
Yes.
in that situation maybe would take completely different photo. And you also, in all your photos, you have people. So you're a humanist. You like to have people in your photos, capture their emotions, the moment. It says a bit about you as an artist as well. This one is
I
lovely.
hope I hope people, the picture to me is backwards. You know, it
I
it,
know,
it
yeah, it's what Instagram does, the camera. I'm sorry, but it's.
yeah. Anyway, because it's not the way you're supposed to show it, but um, yeah, I'm looking for photographs that are, um, elegiac, that are stories, that have music, that have compassion, that have, questions. I'm trying to create realities that don't exist in life.
This one that is very human, I believe. We
Yeah.
have the person making eye contact with you.
Yes. I also like pictures that make eye contact. Yes, but not
I love
all
it
all
as
the
well.
time.
Yeah, I love it as well. But you have now some street photographers that don't agree that if someone makes eye contact to you that actually is candid or street
You know, I don't care what anybody else
yeah.
thinks. It doesn't matter to
The
me.
best
I like what
photographers,
I
they never
like.
care
I
what the
don't.
others say, so it's
They
great.
both work. They both work. Sometimes when somebody's looking at you, it works better than if they don't see you. And sometimes you don't. It works when they don't see you. It can be either one. Either one will work. So I don't really, I don't really think about it. When I get home and I develop my film and I look at my contact sheets, um, I make choices. That's me editing. That's editing. You have to edit. You only want to show the ones that work. You only want to show the ones that work in their totality. Most of them are complete or partial failures. George Bernard Shaw said, a photographer is like a codfish. He or she lays 10,000 eggs in the hope that one will be fertilized.
That's the first one I heard, but it's a good
Yeah, George
metaphoric way
Bernard
of saying it.
George Bernard Shaw said that in before roll film, like in 1910 or something. What's that one? Yeah, that this one.
I like this composition because
Everybody's
you have
looking at me.
this plating, yeah, but also you have this
Everybody's looking at me.
folds.
But you cropped the guy on the right. You shouldn't have done that.
Oh, it was the printing. Okay,
Yeah, because he's looking at me too.
okay.
But you cropped it too much.
I didn't crop it. I just asked them to print, and they printed.
What?
No, I didn't. I didn't do any crop. I just
That's
asked
a
them to
crop. No,
print.
no, that's cropped. That's cropped.
Yeah, but I didn't touch it. I just asked them to print maybe the size or something. They just.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, you can't see the guy's eye on the right. On the right.
Yeah, but you split the image in two, which is
Say
interesting.
that again.
You split the image with this pole in
Yeah.
two, which is
Yes.
a very interesting composition.
That's in the middle.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works
Yeah, it works because it makes
because
you
we have the
together.
edges that are beautiful too. Yeah. Yeah.
And she was really the eyes in each side of the pole. A great photo. Here again, hopefully. This one is interesting because of this couple as well.
Yeah, they're having a moment, a lover's moment. Yeah,
So
I love
many
that
hours
picture.
would you spend on the underground photographing and capturing all these images? And how many years did you spend doing this series?
Well, um, I wouldn't. I was, in the subway, and then I'd come upstairs and be outside, and then go back into the subway. It was, every day was different, but mainly I shot on the street, and if I had to go somewhere to deliver a package, I would take the subway. But I'm shooting every day. I have my camera with me every single day, and I'm on the subway, and I'm on the street, and I'm photographing in both places all the time. Sometimes I'm not even on the subway at all,
Do you think
and
to be a great photographer, you need to photograph every day and bring the camera with you always?
yes, even when you go to the laundromat or go out to dinner with
And in
your
a romantic dinner, you go with your camera. Now we have the phone.
yes, or if you walk your dog or
Wait,
whatever.
you would take a woman on a date and you would take your camera with you?
Yeah, of course.
They didn't get annoyed with you?
Who cares?
You don't care about your date, okay. This one is a very well-known photo that's been featured in several communities. Um, it's in New York as well.
Yes, on Fifth Avenue and 57th Street.
And what do you think this photo expresses, in your view? What messages or story it tells?
Um,
They have this kind of same.
well, it's just like a character study. I don't know what it says. I'm more interested in what it says to you.
I think it's interesting.
I
I
don't
see the
have
nose
anything.
are very similar. The noses, the expressions, very tough expressions. Near Van Cliff, posh area. People would used to dress much better than we dress today, I have to say.
Yeah, women don't wear those veils much anymore.
No. But it's
Um, like I said, I like pictures that ask questions, not pictures that have answers. I'm not looking for answers. I'm looking for things that I've never seen before. And again, the flash and the long shutter speed make that ghostly image on the guy's face.
yeah, but they have the same expression, a very tough expression, like they are seeing something that we don't know what they are seeing because the direction of the gaze is the same, and they really have this closed expression. But I don't know if it's the big city when you're on these metropolis, people look, a bit worried or heavy mindset and not so light as in smaller cities. And when I was in New York, that was something I had the feeling even in the underground. Everyone has this, heaviness in them. And I think here, despite all the posh look and everything, it seems they are focused on something we don't know what. But it's not amusing. Like you're a vagina lady. It's less amusing.
She was a Holocaust survivor.
Oh my God, really?
Her
How do you know?
her
Did you talk
son,
with her?
what?
Did you talk with her? Did you know her?
No, no. But about 20 years after, or 25 years after I took that picture, her son I posted on Facebook, and her son saw the picture and got in touch with me and said, "That's my mother." And then he told me her story, which was that she was a Holocaust survivor and she was liberated at the end of the war, but was, a deeply disturbed, deeply troubled, traumatized person the rest of her life. And he's become a friend of mine, her son.
Interesting story.
Her name
You
is
never met
Magda.
her after this photo. You only met her son.
I met her son only, no, yeah. Her name is Magdalena Stern.
Okay,
Her,
so this was her son contacted you how many years after you took the photo?
yeah, many years. I took that picture in 1978, and he contacted me in 2015, I think, because I posted it on Facebook, and he told me that was his mother. It was his mother.
It's a very touching moment, right? When someone
Yes, 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 and he
contacts
was very, very grateful that I made that picture because it showed her, um, at least being out in the world and being able to have a life to a certain extent because she was tortured. She had horrible dreams, recurring nightmares, her whole entire life from having, been in the concentration camp
Yeah,
in
because when we
Germany.
look
And
at the photo, we see this fancy, beautiful woman, very well dressed. We would
yeah,
never Imagine that she went through all of that. So that's a great story, actually. You took this photograph a year after you started photography. This
Yeah,
is
19.
Stay saying you were already very talented. It's a comment from Stay. Yeah, your story. It's amazing because we can see again a very serious expression, but she's very well dressed. She's beautiful. We could never imagine that.
But look at those edges. Look at those two people on the edges.
Yeah, yeah, I've noticed again the edges
I mean, that would only make sense if it was on the edge, you know. That's what I'm talking about, using the edges.
here as well.
That's very, I'm really gambling there that I might not get them in the frame. And
Did
I
you train
got them
your
in the
eyes
frame.
to get the edges?
Yeah, look, because when you make the picture, you don't look at the center. You look at the edge. You know,
Interesting.
when you're photographing a complicated composition like that,
It is.
look for you know that she's going to be in the frame. You don't have to look at her at the moment of exposure. You look at the edges, and then you move the camera slightly to make the edges work, and forget about the center, because the center is easy. You don't need your eyes for it. Focused, I mean, you don't need focused vision on the center of a photograph. You don't need, I mean, you can see it with your eyes and you know it's there, so you don't have to look at it. You can look at other parts of the picture and begin to make more complicated compositions that are, more about the edges. And those pictures are edgy.
And you fill the frame. It's interesting, like you frame it with the edges. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
great photo. But also, it's a great story. Thank you for sharing with us. It's really
Okay,
touching.
no problem.
And this one.
Again, that's music. It's like a musical score. Each one is a note in a musical score. It's just lyrical, you know. It just is like a perfect sort of lyrical sense. And what it says again is what you want it to say or what you think about it. But the other thing is that um, Gary Winogrand, who was, as I say, a great street photographer, he said something once that was very profound. He said, "There's nothing more mysterious than a fact clearly described." And this is that. This is a fact clearly described. Each person has a gesture and has a look and a feeling, and they're all in the perfect place. So that's why I called it music. And it's just a fact. It's just a visual fact, but it's a visual fact that's perfectly framed.
It is, it is. And these two are looking in the same direction, these two in a different direction. Do you recall what was going on that scenario?
That's in front of Trump Tower.
Oh,
You see it behind his head. It says Trump Tower. You see it?
uh, I cannot see behind his head. Maybe it's a bit dark, so maybe that's great. Yeah, but it's again different stories in one frame. You're a storyteller. Do you consider yourself a humanist and a storyteller? More than
Um, I guess that's true to a certain extent, but those words are so overused um, in photography
I
now.
think currently street photographers
But I'm not.
actually,
I'm not telling a story. I'm just showing a photograph.
but you tell
And
stories as well. Just
well,
tell a
yes and
beautiful
no.
story.
I'm alluding to stories. I'm not telling anything. I'm just alluding to them. I'm trying to give you enough facts So you make up your story. That's what I want to do. I don't want to tell you my story.
Want
I mean,
us to interpret?
once the picture is made, it's not mine anymore. You know, once it's a picture, it's how you react to it. It's how it makes you feel. That's what I care about. That's my communication is what you feel. My skill is to try to make a photograph that asks you the question, what's going on, and lets you make your story from it. That's what changes photography from, that's what makes it art, because
True.
the best art asks questions of you.
True, but the best art also is an expression of the uniqueness of the artist, right? And you have your own language, and it's very specific, um, in my view. So we can say these photos are yours, and they have this kind of composition that is very particular in you, and they tell stories, maybe the stories that we imagine and we interpreted and
Well,
look until, but we have to look
you've been
several
in.
times and go back and and make our own story, and that's what makes them great. It's not only aesthetics. So
There's a lot going on in a photograph. You know, there's a lot. It's a very young art form, photography, and people are just learning always how to see photographs. Um, so,
Richard, we
mm,
are reaching the end of this live. It's only 1 hour. Do you have
okay,
any particular message that you would like to leave, especially for the community of photographers? Or
yeah, well, shoot a lot and try to get into a zone. You know, try to get into the photo zone. The most important thing is to see like a camera sees. You know, to because a camera has one eye, you have two eyes, and that's a profound difference. And the camera has an aperture that you can open up or close down, and a shutter speed that can take in, a thousandth of a second of light, or a quarter of a second of light, or 1 second of light, or 2 seconds of light, whatever. The important thing is to see the way a camera sees. That's a big difference between how we see. A camera has monocular vision, and we have binocular vision. Most of us, if we have two eyes. So two eyes make one image. The way people that don't have a problem with, missing an eye or are blind, we see with two eyes. And we have apertures in our eyes, but they're not under our control. And we don't have shutter speeds in our eyes.
true.
Right. So it's fundamentally different the way we see and the way a camera sees. We use our eyes to try to make a photograph, but when you make that photograph, it's the way the camera sees, not the way you see. So I'll leave you with that.
And also mind the edges.
Yes, and make the most important part of your let sometimes the edges be the most important part of the picture.
I think that's a big lesson for most of us, because we people are getting more minimalist, taking photos, so that complexity disappears. And I think this actually adds, it's an addition to the story and the image. So, Richard, thank you for accepting our
You're
invite.
very welcome.
Pleasure having you here. I'm going to
Okay,
post this live on the Macadam and ask you as a collaborator, so people can watch it. After we close the live, they still have the ability to watch this record.
okay. And also look at a lot of photo books.
I
Look at a
have a
lot
lot
of
of
photo
photo books.
books.
I do that a lot.
Look at a lot of photo books, and you should look at Gary Winogrand's work.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
I know him. When you
uh,
asked me, I was like a bit, but
no, you either do or
I
you
don't have a
don't
book
know
of
him.
him, but I know him.
All
So
right,
thank
take
you.
care.
Take care. Bye bye.
All right, bye bye. Be well.
Be well.